Pleasant Productions presents the math of ESP, why it works even you believe in it. Gee, somebody suggested it. Julia. For those of you that can't read, I'm putting part 6, part 10, part 30, part 40. Obviously this is a multi-part thing. We're going to step back in time for me to a device I was going to see about trying to make. And then unfortunately humans around me got excessively greedy and attitude-ish and, you know, just ever more disgusting. What can I say? As Kurt Cobain says, humans are so stupid, I'm ashamed to be one. The device was called Suncell, and basically what it amounted to was I was going to do something that was basically magic, nothing else. I was going to have to use a very high level of psychic energies to cause something to come into creation and cause a way for me to replicate that. I know that at the very least I started conceiving of the Suncell when Star Wars was out. I believe I was first conceiving it. I seem to recall I disliked the dilithium crystal matrix problem of Star Trek stuff, and it was obvious that you had to just simply have a very good power supply. You didn't need something that was continuously breaking down. Now it works very good for movies. It does keep things interesting, yes. Reality check. Solo sailor here. When you're 1,000 miles from shore, you don't want something to have an automatic, you know, as they say in the industry. 2 days after the warranty ends, your part breaks, and then you have to buy it again. You know, built-in obsolescence. No, when you're a million light years from any place, you want something you can count on. You don't want dilithium crystals that always break down. Anyway, so the Suncell was this device that I started figuring out, working on, conceiving of. Late 78, early 79, Richard was around then, and he kind of questioned me about the idea because we were both looking at the absolute lunacy of the power grid system that exists in the United States, which is, again, great for profiteering, lousy for survival. So the idea was to come up with something small and basically safe enough that you could have one in every house. Everybody's on their own grid. Everybody's on their own power supply. Nobody has to worry about brownouting anybody else. The Suncell was definitely put together in my head at that point in time. The expectations of it were, of course, quite unlimited, and excuse me. Raymond came in around 79, 80, and we got discussing the whole space venture routine. So at that point in time, he wanted to work on some kind of anti-gravity device, which was fine. I had the power supply, which was the Suncell, and I could also help him put together an anti-gravity device. We were going to start a skycab company that would charge a penny a mile for wherever you wanted to go. And he was going to do skyhook, or we would do some kind of skyhook and rescue systems and stuff like that. And they were all built on the idea that you had this power supply that was no bigger than this water bottle in my hand. that generated enough power to run an anti-gravity system and a magnetic propulsion system, so you could have this taxi pick you up in Los Angeles, and you literally tell the taxi, I want to go to, excuse me, I need to be outside more. You could have this taxi zoom you across to France, and you could have lunch at the Eiffel Tower. Okay? Non-polluting, non-invasive, non-sound, no major sound. The automatic driving cars would be what would happen here. You would not have any human drivers for these things. You would have computer relays and links and everything, so it's all quite well controlled. It's all easily done from here to there. You don't have people crashing them. You don't have people trying to drive them way too fast in the wrong directions and stuff like that. It's a cab company, right? You're not buying these anywhere for sports cars and stuff like that. The idea that you could, decide to go from Los Angeles to Paris, France, or anywhere else in the world and be delivered door to door is quite effective, especially when you consider that this thing goes up in the air, so you don't have any rails to put down. You don't have any tunnels to dig like Elon Musk is doing with his magnetic tunnel tube thing. You don't have to worry about earthquakes being in the way. You do have to worry about weather, but you don't have to worry about any land conditions or ocean conditions. You've got you got a freighter out there that is starting to sink. You can have 2 or 3 of these sky hooks that we call them, which were basically the same thing as a taxi, except that they would be quite literally a tow truck. They go out there and they pick up whatever the heck is broken. It didn't matter. These things got enough power, and they're anti-gravity, so they just pick it up and move it. Get it the heck out of wherever it is. Oil tanker leaking all over the place. Sure, let's get it wrapped up in plastic real quick, so that at least we semi-contain the thing for some reason. Get it out of the ocean where it's going to continue to wash up onto the rocks and break up. Oh yeah. Like I said, this was all quite logical and quite a bit of fun to think about. The Suncell, because it requires a particular convergence of energy to create electrical output, it's not very simple to do. Now, I'm not going to say that nobody else on the planet could do it, but you're not going to do it with any kind of scientific physical objects. You you have to be able to connect permanently to the spiritual realm. And like I said, when humans got really greedy, I just decided that I was going to shelve the idea and forget about it. So at this point in time, doing the International Space Station Phase 2, where based on the information I have and understand and I'm receiving, you have at maximum 10 years of life left before you have a complete systems failure of everything on your ecosystem, of your planet. It might be the only thing that would actually make a power supply engine, rocket ship engine possible, that would get enough of you out of here. On the other hand, like I said, I haven't got any real reason to give a snot about most of you. So it's not real high on my list, and it's not real low on my list, because I'm still trying to get my ass off the planet. But if I make one to get me out of here, I don't have to take any of you. That wasn't part of my contract. The rest of you that are out there, if you're paying attention, if you're thinking about listening, if you're thinking about doing something that's called actually thinking and using your brain, kindly do so. Maybe you can think of some answer that I haven't thought of, and you can figure out some way to save your butts. But until then, the statistical data coming in right now out of all the scientific areas and out of all of your gods and saints and demons and whatever you want to call it, I don't care. Out of everything that's come out of the spiritual realm, you got about 5 to 8 years. In about 5 years, you will be so totally broken of societal rankings anywhere. You aren't going to get much of anything organized. So anyway, yeah, that's part of the story.